Watch the blitz. Watch the blitz.
Green
42.
18. Green 18. Green 18 set up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Third and Wrong podcast, where our takes are almost certainly wrong, but our plays are pretty good, if you couldn't tell. We are jumping into some fantasy. We're ready for football season, and it's never too early to talk about it. We're going to be looking at some 2026 fantasy studs and duds today. So hopefully you guys can learn from some of the fantasy football masters that are going to be speaking to you today. That would be us, of course. And we're gonna hop right into it. We're gonna start off with our studs, and I'm not even gonna give these boys a chance to speak. We're just gonna jump right in. I'm gonna share one of my studs. So
Probably for the better.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey,
That's
it's almost July. It's past fantasy football. We should have done done this video. Sorry, can't speak. I'm so fired up I am for this.
Again,
podcast.
I got hit by that Mike linebacker.
I was trying not to give them an opportunity to speak to keep you guys intelligent, but you know it happens. It happens. Mistakes happen, but that's okay. We're gonna play a little bit of Who Am I for my first stud pick.
Okay.
And I'm gonna read some statements, and you just kind of got to try to guess who this player is. I'm gonna read them one at a time, and hopefully you can guess. So let's see if you can figure it out.
This is a stud, right?
The first, yes, this is one of my studs.
Competition.
You're
working together. Correct?
Working together. If you have a guess, if you're like pretty confident about your guess, you can guess at any point. I'm going to read them one at a time. So
Okay.
the first statement is: I was clocked at 21.2 miles per hour in a game. 21.2 miles per hour in an NFL game. An NFL game. That's your first hint. Obviously, the first hint's not supposed to give it away. Maybe you've got some
Devon Achane.
thoughts in mind. No, not Devon Achane.
Yes.
I feel like he's a little bit faster, to be fair.
I am the number one wide receiver for my team. I'm the number one wide receiver for my team.
What about? Let's see here. See, really fast. Number one wide receiver. There's some real burners, Slade.
Rashid Rice and Xavier Worthy, but I don't know which one would be classified as top dog.
I mean, it would not be Xavier Worthy.
It's a burner.
He's a burner. That's the problem.
All right, I'll read your next hint.
Yeah, keep going.
I've never had more than 50 receptions in a season.
Ooh. This guy.
Is Alec Pierce that fast?
Maybe. That's a good guess. What about Alec Pierce?
It is Alec Pierce. Well done. The last hint, I'll read it for the heck of it. I led the league in yards per reception in 2025. And the second closest was almost 6 whole yards per reception behind. He had 21.3 yards per reception in 2025. The second closest among qualifying receivers was George Pickens with 15.4. So he's absolutely killing the game. He just eclipsed 1,000 yards. Alec Pierce is my first stud because he is being drafted in a place where he is surrounded by guys like Tony Pollard, Ramondre Stevenson, Quentin Johnston, Tucker Kraft, RJ Harvey, Kenny Gainwell, Mekhi Lemon. These are the guys he's going around. And to be honest, I don't think any of those guys are on the same level in terms of upside as Alec Pierce. It's been talked about a lot this offseason. Obviously, he signed the big $120 million 4-year extension. He's staying in Indy. They're committed to him. All the talk around training camp has been that he's going to take on a much bigger role. So I think Alec Pierce is really going to exceed this. He's being drafted in that range. That's the 7th round, 10th pick as the wide receiver 38 and I just can't see him
No way.
not exceeding that because he did last year when Michael
I love
Pittman
it.
was taking a ton of targets away, and he's going to be the number one dude there. So I think Alec Pierce is going to be a real stud. This is, by the way, this is 12-team PPR format. So
I like that. I especially what you bring up with the exit of Pittman, who obviously, like, I think you would be considered that being the guy in Indy. I mean, since he's been there, really, but last year you kind of saw the emergence of Pierce. It seems like a lot of times when you have guys like that too, who, not to say he was bad his first few years, but he was literally just a deep ball threat his first couple of years. You know, he was that 3 or 4 guy. He would come on, maybe he'd have like a 65-yard touchdown. And you don't hear from him from 3 weeks. Last year, he really emerged as kind of a guy, especially late in the season. And a good red zone threat as well. He's a really big guy. So anytime you see that, when you have a guy break out, did he have 1,000 last year? I think
He
went
did.
over 1,000, didn't he? I
He
thought
did.
so.
in
So
47 receptions.
that's ridiculous. Like when you have a guy like that, it seems you can either be like, you know, is this guy? A lot of times you maybe think of a guy like that and think he's going to take a step back. But I agree with you. I think it's the opposite. I think with Pittman gone, I think it was kind of, he's so young too, man. I think it's the start of a really good career. I think he's going over that 50 mark next year for sure. He's going to be a great
sure.
player. So
Yeah,
I like that. That's a good
I
spot.
like Alec Pierce a lot. Congrats to him on that big contract, and congrats on him for becoming the wide receiver one on that team. I think he's going to be great. But bouncing off of that, I have another guy. If you want me to go ahead and go, Jacob.
Love it.
Sure,
Love it.
go for it.
Roll
I
right
was
in.
going a different route down the Colts line. I was going Tyler Warren.
Okay.
I could see Tyler Warren being a stud this year. I don't know exactly. I didn't do all the fantasy football history deep dive that
I can
JJ
tell
does. He's
you.
a big fantasy football buff over here.
Look,
He's
here's one
being
thing I would
drafted at
say.
about the 603.
Here's one thing I would say about the Colts train that we're kind of really on right now. I think a lot of this has to do when we're looking over the strings is the fact that Daniel Jones has a torn Achilles. So I think Anthony Richardson playing quarterback, you really got to factor that in. So we'll see. We'll see how.
Yeah. I mean, I had it
It's
down
definitely
there.
a factor.
I had it down there for my notes for Tyler Warren. Pittman's gone, obviously, gone to the Steelers.
Yeah.
But then you're hopeful Daniel Jones is healthy with how he played to start the year last year. I mean, they were a freaking wagon to start.
Dude, they were
But
cooking.
if he
7-1,
can't come back,
Number 1 seed.
Tyler Warren is a jack of all trades. We forget back in Penn State, he was taking snaps straight from the center and running them in on the goal line. Now, obviously, you got Jonathan Taylor on that team. Probably ain't going to happen.
He did
But
that last year.
he could definitely do it like even more. You know, I mean, his second year, surely he takes a step up, in my opinion. But even if Daniel Jones is not out there, and it is AR, I think with how inconsistent AR can be, that deep threat and Alec Pierce could be a weapon as well for him because you know he's got a strong arm. But at the same time, the dink and dunks might also be there. So I think if anybody takes the back burner in this situation, I think it might be Josh Downs, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, I think even if I think they're optimistic about it. I think if you have AR playing quarterback, you might like Alec Pierce's upside goes down, I think, but I still can't imagine he's not an 1,000-yard receiver.
He's going to be
even if
completing forward passes. I mean, it's not to say that he's going to have 1,400 yards, but
and
especially AR is capable, especially if it's end of a game. You know, if
Yeah.
they're losing a game, he's capable of pushing down the field, which might
He's not scared.
which
And-
Alec Pierce does really well.
Alec Pierce could easily have 80 receptions. Same with Tyler Warren. Like just reception after reception after reception. That's going to get you some good fantasy points. And I think that could be a lot of what we see. So
Yeah,
I love the Colts train.
I could definitely see Tyler Warren being like a top 5 tight end at the end of this year. Like
Tyler Warren is
he's
being
so good
drafted
at
as the
Penn State.
tight end 4.
is he?
Dude played some,
Yes.
dude played some
Yes.
quarterback in college, man. Dude's a stud. At Penn
He's a
State.
man.
But
Hey, they might need him to go out there, boost his draft stock even more.
So if we're starting off with pass catchers here, sticking to that theme, first guy I got up, I have an Arizona Cardinal. It's not the guy you may think. It is not Marvin Harrison Jr. It is Michael Wilson. Because I think,
I like it.
you know, they committed to Jacoby Brissett. They went and they bought him back. You know, the Cardinals they're in a rebuild spot, so they know Brissett's going to start the year at quarterback for them. Look, they didn't win a lot of football games with Brissett at the end of the year. But what they did do is they scored a lot of points. They had a lot of yards through the air because they struggled to run the ball. I expect some more of the same this year. And one thing that happened towards the end of last year is Michael Wilson emerged as his number one target. Like, dude was unreal. Had some unbelievable games. Like, 2 or 3 10-plus catch games. Just the target share was outrageous. And then you go and look at fantasy rankings this year. It's got him down in the 80s, in the 90s. Like, it's got him ranked below. Just for example, he's sandwiched in between RJ Harvey and Rico Dowdle. That's just kind of where he's at. Like, good players. Like, he's behind Michael Pittman Jr. He's behind Chris Godwin Jr., who struggled to stay healthy. He's behind Rochelle Tootin in Jacksonville. Some of these guys, I think he's going to have a better year than. That was Jacoby's guy, man. I don't see any reason for that, especially with a whole offseason with him this year. And not only that, like, dude can play, man. Like, he's got good size. He's a good vertical threat. He's a really good player. I expect him to have another good year. Again, I'm not saying he's going to go out and be an all-pro guy, but I think that if you're sitting there and round 7 in a 12-man league, and PPR leagues especially for a guy who gets so many targets, I don't think he's a bad guy to take if he's still just hanging around. I think he has a very productive fantasy year again. Arizona's going to have to throw the ball a lot. I expect him to be behind in a lot of games. I like it, man. It stuck out to me.
Yeah, just going off of that, I feel like bringing in Jeremiah Love, bringing in Tyler Algier, I think the running game will be a little bit better.
Yeah.
It was weird with Arizona last year. I felt like they had 4 guys that could tote the rock and be serviceable, but no stud. And now you're bringing in a rookie who should be a stud, Tyler Algier, who's probably the premier RB2 in the league. And then
monster.
You still have James Conner at number 3. I mean, the running game should be in pretty good
definitely
hands.
Should be better.
But like you said, I don't think that team's in any position to be winning many games. So I think Brissett will have to throw it as we've seen last year. And yeah, I mean, you got McBride, you got Marv, who hasn't shown out the way that everybody expected him to coming into the league. But I mean, he's definitely going to be taking some targets away. But I do like Michael Wilson. He, like you said, he ended the year very strong.
From where he's being
I do like it.
Yeah. I love the value of especially what we saw from him late in the season last year. I'm a believer in it. Instead of a skeptic on Michael Wilson, I'm kind of a believer in what he did at the tail end of last season. So
I mean, I hope so. He's a fun player to watch.
He was Jerry Rice reincarnated. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Won people leagues. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous. And so a lot of people probably picked him up off waivers.
I was about to say.
He definitely was in our league, our 12-man league. I can't remember who got him. But I think it was
know either.
Somebody who
didn't matter. Because you know who was in the championship? Me and Big Dog. Me and Big Dog right here. So Slade wasn't, but don't worry about him.
I just got out.
If you hear his fantasy takes today, just be like, I'll take that with a grain of salt. Just remember,
I won the big league.
Who was in the championship?
Was in the quarterfinals in that.
Yeah, it was me and you last year, wasn't it?
But he did win our other league. So
listen to me. I did play for the chip in that one last year. I was sitting there pointing at Slade, and I was like, "It's not me." But yeah, it was me.
Yeah, no, don't you worry.
If you're taking any advice, us 3 boys are the guys to listen to. I mean,
that's right.
In our 2 leagues, we run that thing.
That's right. Bunch of middle-aged guys too. I mean, we just absolutely we just take them to town, man. Like we get
young buck ball.
We get all the good guys, all the good teams, all the playoff spots. So, with that being said, I guess I'll share my next stud. I have 2 to choose from. I'm going to go with a little bit of a different route. This is not an individual player. This is just a group. This is kind of a group of players that are being drafted in the same range that I think are all very good picks. Caleb Williams is being drafted at the 609. Jalen Hurts is being drafted at the 701. Justin Herbert is being drafted at the 702. And Dak Prescott is being drafted at the 707. And Trevor Lawrence is being drafted at the 708. These 5 guys were all top 10 quarterbacks last year. They're all being drafted as top 10 quarterbacks once again. But for every single one of these guys, I see a path to being the number 1. Well, maybe not number 1. You've got like Josh Allen. You got Josh Allen, a very good path for all 3 of these guys, or all 5 of these guys, to be a top 3 fantasy quarterback. Caleb Williams had a 58 or 59% completion percentage last year. Imagine he completes 63% of his passes. He has one of the best young receiving cores in the league. Great, one of the best offensive coordinators. He runs the ball. He's just a player who I feel like could just have a really, really good season. We could be talking about as one of the cornerstone fantasy QBs for a long time. Jalen Hurts, we've seen him do it many times. I don't think A.J. Brown's departure matters that much for his fantasy value because so much of it comes from running and rushing touchdowns. If they can get the tush push figured out again, and if his scramble rate goes back up to what it was in almost every year of his career, he's going to be great. Justin Herbert, obviously Mike McDaniel is there now. I can see that just elevating the whole offense. Great offensive weapons in every direction. They signed David Njoku at tight end too, which I know people were excited about Gadsden, but Njoku's better than Gadsden. Njoku's a great tight end. So they're going to have like a really proficient offense. Justin Herbert runs the ball. He's just a beast of a man. We saw him. We know he's a really, really good passer. I feel like he could easily be a top 3 quarterback. Dak Prescott, if CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens stay healthy, I mean, I think it would be, and Dak stays healthy. That's a big piece. I think if those 3 things, all 3 of them stay healthy, man, I think he's easily a top 5 fantasy quarterback, like with no question. And then Trevor Lawrence, everybody's excited about the Jacksonville train. I'm sure we will have another Jacksonville stud before the end of this session. But T-Law, I feel like he was a top 5 fantasy quarterback last year. And so I think he could definitely do that again with Liam Cohen elevating his play just like he did for Baker Mayfield. So I love this range of QBs. I feel like whichever one you believe in the most, you see the path the most for, is a great pick and sets you up well to be in championship position if you hit. So
I love that, especially what you bring up about, because I'm back on I know when you look at these guys, when you see guys, they have struggle and then they have a big year. And you kind of think, can they do it again? That's what people are kind of thinking with Trevor Lawrence. I'm huge on Trevor Lawrence, man. I think last year, like you said, I love that you made the point about Cohen. I really do think something with Cohen, Cohen is an outstanding offensive coach. Like, I even remember watching him when he was in college. He coached the University of Kentucky for a little bit. Like, I think he might have coached Will Levis when Will Levis was there. They may have crossed paths. Like, he was really good. Even then, like, Kentucky had some seasons where they didn't have the most talent. They finished top 10 in the country a couple of years, a couple of 10-win seasons. Like, he's just a fantastic coach. So I think that's a big deal. And obviously, I'm biased because I'm a Clemson fan, but I've always said this since he came in the league. I really think he has as much talent as any. Maybe if you take away like Mahomes and Allen, other than that, I think he has as much talent as anybody because he doesn't have as much. It's not even necessarily the arm talent. He just doesn't have maybe as much athleticism as those guys. He's still a fantastic athlete. He's super accurate. He's got the big arm. So he's a beast. I love that. Only thing I didn't like that you said was I didn't like the Gatson. So I think Gatson, I'm telling you, I think he's, even with the Njoku addition, I think Njoku's a beast. I still think Gatson is going, like, I actually have him the opposite way. Like, I think he is going to be, like, I have him in my.
I like Gadsden a lot. I like Gadsden a lot.
I remember watching him play at Syracuse. He was one of my favorite prospects last year. He's tall. He's kind of like a Kyle Pitts type tight end a little bit. Like, if you watch him play, like, he's really tall, not lanky because he's a tight end, but lanky for a tight end.
Yeah,
he's still a really big dude, and he is a true pass catcher at tight end. Like, dude is a stud. He had a good year last year. I think he's going to be even better this year. And Njoku obviously makes them a lot better, and he still provides value. And Njoku's a terrific blocker as well. But I'm telling you, I think Gatson, I think that's the leading tight end in receiving yards on that team, like bar none. Other than that, I love.
You think he leads the team in receiving yards?
Tied out of the tight end group. Like, I think he has.
Okay.
I was about to say.
I mean, I don't see a path. The reason I said that is I think Njoku is a better tight end. Njoku has been one of the best tight ends in the league for a few years and has just been buried on the Cleveland Browns.
My
And
thing
we
is,
saw what
I
happened when he
legit
got a decent quarterback, and he was awesome. And so I think he's going to play over Gadsden, especially because Gadsden had that spike in the middle of the season and then declined again. Like he didn't
look,
do all that much
let me
after that.
know.
So I just don't see a path if Gadsden it gets less snaps than Njoku. I don't
One
see a
thing we
path
know,
for Gadsden to be successful unless Herbert throws for 5,000 yards.
one thing we know about Harbaugh, they love to run the ball. So they're going to have a lot of 2 tight end sets.
Sure.
Another thing about Harbaugh too, teams like to run the ball a lot, like to run a lot of play action. So I definitely think there's a reason they went out and got Njoku when they already liked Jackson.
They got
It's because
Charlie Kolar as well.
they want to use a lot of tight ends. That's just kind of the way Harbaugh, that's the way they run offense. So, and a lot of play action again as well. So they're both going to be on the field at the same time. But I'm telling, like, to me, Gatson, I'm not saying necessarily next year, but I'm telling you, like, well, next year I think he's going to be better. But my next statement, I think he's eventually like a 1,000-yard guy at the tight end position. Like, I think he's that good as a receiver. So, especially in the 17-game season now, and Goodell's talking about bumping that thing to 18. I just think he's a beast,
Up it
man.
to 20.
So, but I also think Njoku was a great signing for them. Like, you're talking about reliable, quarterback's best friend, maybe on third down. Like, he may have lost a little bit, like he's getting a little older. He's still stud, man. He's one of my favorite tight ends in the game. I love David Njoku, but
the Chief.
Good tight end room out in LA. I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's right. Very good. Probably the best potentially the best in the league.
Could be. Maybe Chicago.
We're talking about the Rams, right? We're talking about the Rams.
Charlie Kolar
got a good one.
Charlie Kolar is one of the best blocking tight ends in the league, and we saw that by how much he got paid.
LA loves more than tight ends.
Yeah,
apparently they'll run 5 at one time.
Yeah, Sean McVay, he'll put 11 of them out there.
But bouncing off of what JJ said, I know you mentioned all those quarterbacks, and y'all both know that I'm not that high on Caleb Williams. I think he's great. I think he's fun. He's fun to watch. I just don't think he's a top 5 quarterback, top 7, top 8 quarterback. But I do have Rome Odunze as a stud for me. I just think with the torture of DJ Moore, I think their defense got a little bit better, and I feel like that defense is going to keep the offense on the field more. Therefore, Rome Odunze on the field more. I also saw something where he had 48 receptions out of 102 targets last year. There's no way he's going to be catching less than 50 of his targets. So I think if he catches, let's just say 65, 70% of those, I mean, he had 661 yards and 6 touchdowns. That's easily 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. And I think with that elevated role of DJ Moore out, I mean, Colston Loveland, I think, is going to benefit a lot too. Don't get me wrong. Luther Burden, excited to watch him. But I think Rome Odunze, if he can get his injuries under control, I like the upside he has. I don't know exactly where he's going, JJ. You probably could find that pretty easily.
Hey, he is. I love that pick from you because of where he's going, Slade. He is going at the wide receiver 29, which is the 5-12, the end of the 5th round. He's going in between Bucky Irving, Carnell Tate, and Brian Thomas Jr. So I think Rome Odunze is a great pick.
And like you were stating about Caleb Williams, if he progresses and he can, I mean, you said he had what, a 58% completion percentage?
Yeah, horrible.
I mean, if he just has average,
exactly,
and even more of ththose throws are targeted towards Rome Odunze, I mean, I just think it bumps it up even more. I think the value is great for him.
Right.
I do like Rome Odunze going into this year. Just if he can figure out those injuries. I know he was off and on all last year. It was like 3 games he missed, like half the game of. If he could just get that under control, I think he'd be great.
Love it.
And I'm not even a big Bears fan.
Go Bears.
Jacob's a huge Caleb Williams guy. So
I think he's fantastic.
And if he becomes a top 5, top 7 quarterback, I mean,
I'm glad you brought up the Bears.
13.
I have a couple of Bears on mine, so I'll go ahead and do. So actually, I have 3, but one of them is down in the bottom right corner in small letters. That's Colston Loveland. That's just because everybody knows he's a stud. So that's obviously, I just want to clarify. I wrote him on here, but I didn't think that it needed to be some big.
It's a given,
I think
pretty much.
Clearly, everyone knows Colston Loveland, how good of a player he is with his emergence, especially at the end of last year. Especially, he's such an elite receiver and a great blocker. So I put him on here, but I don't want to harp on him too long. I'm glad you brought it, Rome. I actually went the opposite way. I put Luther Burden on mine. And
I thought about it.
short list of guys I have here, I think he's a beast, man. Look, I think they're both going to be really good. I think it's one of those situations like Dallas, where they're not as good as the two that Dallas have, but I think that both of them are so good. And I think that Caleb Williams necessarily isn't going to fix it on one. I don't think either one of them are going to hurt each other. But Luther is the guy that I went with. If I had to pick one, I think Luther Burden's going to lead the team in receiving yards next year. I love Rome. Again, this is me saying I like them both, but I think Luther Burden, with what he did last year down the stretch when the Bears played some of their best football of the season last year down the stretch, and that was with Burden and Colt and Loveland at the forefront of that offense. But I did like the move for them to move on with more and kind of let these young guys blossom at the receiving position. They're all so young and they're all so good. I put Burden on there. I remember I could not believe he got drafted so low coming out of Missouri. Like, I watched him play a lot in college. Unbelievable. So I couldn't believe he fell.
I think me and you were begging for Dallas to get him.
We
he could be our number 3
so
punch.
bad.
Yeah.
What did he get drafted?
The second round. Pick 44, maybe?
Yeah, it was
34, maybe?
Second round, 39. There's no way. And then I remember
second.
he gets picked at 39. The season starts last year. He has kind of a slow start. And I'm like, well, maybe it's just, these guys are a lot better at their job than, me sitting at home. But then the end of the season comes and there it is. He has a couple of 100-yard games down the stretch. He is so good. He is so good with the ball in his hands after the catch. He's just a really elusive guy. I love Luther Burden, man. He's one of my booms. And then the other guy, because I said I had 3, kind of skimmed over Loveland. Kyle Monungai at the running back position for them, kind of pivoting a little bit. I think DeAndre Swift is really good, but I think they're both going to play again a lot. But I honestly expect to see Monungai maybe get a little more of the share this year. And I don't even think it's necessarily going to be anything to do with Swift. I'm not sitting up here being like some Swift dropped off. I just think this dude is so good. Like, you watch him play. Like, I don't know what his yards per carry was last year. I probably should have looked and written it down. It had to be good. It was unbelievable. It seems like every time I watch him play, every other carry he was due for like a 15-yard run. He runs so hard. The Bears can really block. The Bears are a really exciting team, man. Again, like, I think the defense has got to be better, but there's a lot to be excited about in Chicago. And I think it starts with the second-year guys that I think I'm really excited about, that I think were already really great as rookies, and I think are going to take the next step next year. So that's just 2 guys I kind of wrote. And again, this isn't a super long list I've got in front of me there. And I had Bears for days on there. But Slade knows how I get when talking about Caleb Williams and the Bears, man.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something about Luther Burden. I thought about putting him on here as well. I just think the Rome Odunze, I just think he proved a little bit more.
They're both so good.
But Luther Burden, that is the definition of taking advantage of your opportunities. I mean, I think he came into the year as the number 4. Didn't even get much playing time to start the year. I think Alameda Zacchaeus was above him. But then with DJ Moore, I think he got hurt like a concussion or something. And then Rome Odunze got bummed up a little bit. And so they came out for half of a few games. And Luther Burden fit in there, and he just went to town. And
Luther Burden,
he worked his way into that wide receiver. He worked his way into that wide receiver 2 role very well.
Luther Burden did not have 5 targets in a game until November 16th. And I believe that's probably right around the time Odunze went down. Just to add,
that's probably about week? That's probably about week 10, week 11, week 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right.
So, yeah, he just took advantage of what he was given, and good for him,
Right.
Stud. They got something in him, and both of those guys.
Which is a great thing for the team, If you can slap in somebody and he just goes to work for you, nothing feels better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Such a great pick for them.
Yeah, I am loving the Bears. I love Caleb Williams, obviously. I can't wait to watch the Bears. I just feel like they're going to be one of the most fun teams in the country to watch. But I'm actually more excited about the train that I was just talking about. I'm going to go back to the Jacksonville Jaguars train. The bandwagon is moving, and I've got another stud pick from the Jaguars, Bashal Tutin. Tutin.
He has the opportunity.
He's doing it, and I think he's going to do it. He's being drafted currently as the running back 24, which is decent right? It's decent draft capital for fantasy football. He's drafted at the end of the 5th round. So, like, he's going to be one of your first 5 guys off the board if you want him. And he's going to have to be your running back 1, 2, or 3, right? And so you're investing some in him, but I think there's good reason to. And that's because, once again, the man, Duval, Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen elevates not just the QB position, but the running back position. That's what we've seen the past couple of years. Last year, Trevor Lawrence went up to a top 5 fantasy quarterback, and Travis Etienne was the running back 10 in PPR formats last year. The year before that, Baker Mayfield was a top 12 or top 10 quarterback in fantasy football, and Bucky Irving as a rookie, when Bucky Irving didn't even start the year as the starter, he was the running back 13 in 2024. Now, both of those guys are good talents. I'm not sure Bashal Tutin is as good as those guys, but what I do know is that Liam Cohen's offense elevates the running back position. Those are 2. I'm going to say they're basically 2 top 10 finishes because of Bucky didn't start until week 4. And so I'm going to say they're basically 2 top 10 running back finishes. He's being drafted as the RB24, even if he finishes as the RB 18, 15. You're going to be happy that you drafted him, and he's going to catch the ball a lot. And especially Chris Rodriguez is the other running back in that RB competition. Now, he was coached by Liam Cohen at Kentucky, and so that's a little bit scary, but Crod has been dealing with an injury during training camp. And so not training camp. Sorry. What am I trying to
mini camp? What are we
mini
in?
camp. Sorry, mini
camp.
camp. He has been dealing with an injury, and it seems like it's going to linger into training camp. And if that happens, then I feel really good about Bashal Tutin starting strong and keeping the job. He looked decent last year. So I love the Jacksonville train. And I think the quarterback and the running back position are the way to go on Jacksonville because the pass catchers are so crowded. It's hard to know who's going to excel.
I like that. I think he's a really good player, man. I don't have much to add on that one. I think that they obviously thought enough of him to let Travis. I mean, not that they didn't want to keep Travis. I'm sure they did. I know New Orleans paid a lot to get him, gave him a big, I think it was a 4-year deal, right?
It was, yeah, it was almost $60 million. So,
especially after the year that he had. But I think that speaks a lot about, in limited opportunities last year, he had a couple of good games. Like he sprung a couple of big runs. He's a really fast back. I like him, man. I liked him coming out of Virginia Tech. I don't have much to add. Good player.
Yeah, like Jacob kind of mentioned earlier, we're Clemson fans, so we like Trevor Lawrence, and obviously we're going to just pull for the team that he's on, unless they're going against the Cowboys. So I would love to see him do well. I'd love to see Brian Thomas bounce back as well. But yeah, Bashal Tutin, fun player to watch. Can't wait to see it. I mean, I don't necessarily have him as a stud. I don't know exactly how to gauge it for him, but I mean, he's got, like I said, he's got the opportunity. He definitely could do it. So I'm excited to see it happen. For my third stud, I had CeeDee Lamb on here, but I think that's just a biased pick. What I'm kind of going to pivot to is Emeka Egbuka. Okay. I know it's random and off the wall. I had Emeka Egbuka to start last year in fantasy, and he was great for me. If you know anything about last year's fantasy, you know he started off the year incredible, but he kind of fell off. I could see him bouncing back this year, taking that second step, that second leap forward. I think that defense isn't that great. I don't think that team in general is that great. So I could definitely see them falling behind in a few games and making Baker Mayfield throw the ball. And I think Chris Godwin's coming to not the end of his career, but I just think it's to the point where he's not the same. He's not the same as he was, not the same as he used to be 2 years ago. He played phenomenal. But yeah, I just think Emeka Egbuka definitely has the opportunity to shine. I think they're going to focus more on him. If they need to air the ball out, I think he's the guy. He made some great plays last year. Exciting player to watch. So that's who I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, I don't have much on him either, just because I think you hit it. It was kind of weird how he fell off at the end of last year, right? Because we know this dude. Like, I think it's one of those moments where a team drafts a guy, everybody loves him, he starts playing, everybody knew how good he was going to be. He's really good, and he just kind of moves through all the stages as a stud. You know what I mean? I think that's where his career is going to go. Great in college. Fans love the draft pick when they got him. I think he's going to go and have a great career. He's going to be a monster next year for sure.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And like they're going to have to throw the ball as well.
I don't know where he's going, JJ. You can let me know about that, but you can tell me if that's a good pick or not.
Let's see. He's going
because if you look at the depth chart,
bro, he's not
Chris
going
Godwin's above him.
super high. Well, he's going pretty high. Wide receiver 18. He's going beginning of the fourth round.
Yeah.
So he is. Yeah, I mean he's getting drafted over Tet McMillan, Josh Jacobs, Luther Burden, those kind of guys. So it's
maybe not Tet. I think Tet might be a little bit better.
Yeah, it's so people are high on him, and I think it makes sense. I mean, Evans being gone, like you said, they're gonna have to throw the ball. What happened at the end of last year was just kind of weird. Like him and Baker just couldn't connect. I think a lot of that gets fixed over an off season with some more reps together and some more chemistry built. And like you said, Godwin's just not the same. He gets injured too much, and it's hurt him as a ceiling player. Like he just can't be what he used to be. So I love it.
I think that offense is going to be Baker, Bucky, and Emeka, and that's pretty much.
I hope you're right about Bucky. I am deathly afraid. I have him in a dynasty league, and it's scary.
A lot of people are scared about him, but I just don't see any reason for him to go down.
In our bidding league last year, I don't remember what I paid for him.
I don't either.
I paid so much money for him.
You had him and Malik.
Oh man, it was brutal. I still ended up making the playoffs before. I don't even remember how. I don't even remember who all I had. It was frustrating. I had a few injuries, but move on. Next guy. So this is my first quarterback, and this isn't. I know JJ did like a grouping earlier. This is a specific guy. I wouldn't be surprised if one of you got it. It feels kind of obvious. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else had him, even though it seems obvious. I just want to kind of talk about him and the situation that he's walking into this year and some of the reasons why. I got Kyler Murray on this list, man, going into Minnesota. I think Kyler Murray is walking into an unbelievable sit. Think about what he's walking into in Minnesota. We just watched, granted, Sam Darnold just won the Super Bowl, but you saw what Sam Darnold just did there 2 years ago. One, I think Sam Darnold's a fantastic player. I want to say that too, by the way. But I also think that Kyler Murray is a good player. I don't think that he's the guy maybe we thought he was going to be coming out as the number one pick. You know, he had the really good year in 20 and 21, and he struggled since. He's also struggled to stay on the field, had the ACL. But when you look at the situation he's walking into, Kevin O'Connell calls himself – he's been the so-called quarterback whisperer. And everyone talks about McCarthy last year and how bad McCarthy was. I want you to know the Minnesota Vikings won their last 5 ball games of the year last year. That defense was one of the best in the NFL in 24 and was elite down the stretch in 25 with Flores at the helm. So I think when you add Kyler Murray into a situation where you have Justin Jefferson, you have Jordan Addison, and you have Jawan Jennings to throw the football to, and I think they're going to struggle with the football. That's the one thing I worry about. But I even think fantasy-wise, I think that's even better. And you know that he's a threat with his legs. You know that he still has a chance. He's not as a dynamic as a runner maybe as he was. He doesn't really look to run a ton. Like, it's probably not going to be a ton of design stuff. But that still is a little bit of an extra fantasy boost. You never know what's going to win you that week. If he pops off for that 25-yard run, I mean, that may be the difference in a win or a loss that week. But I just think that, one, he's a good player. I think a lot of times a new situation rejuvenates a guy. He needed to get out of Arizona. I don't think he could have walked in. You leave Arizona, I think it's polar opposite of what Minnesota is expecting to go compete next year at a high level. Like, I'm talking about in that building. I know this isn't the general NFL consensus. In that building, I think they're expecting to play the Super Bowl level next year, just with what they have on defense and what they just did 2 years ago. Like, I think in their minds, they think that Murray can replicate some of what Darnold did a couple of years ago, even though they're different players. I think he's going to be really good.
Yeah. The only thing I'm not sure of is, how do you think he's going to be a stud if he's going to be a backup?
I was going to bring that up.
Rolling with 9?
9.
Can you imagine? Dude, if O'Connell rolls out McCarthy week 1,
that's how we know. But that's how we know Murray's bad. Like, that's how we know he got benched for a reason. So
There's no chance, right? Like I don't think
I
there's.
I now I understand where you're coming from. Murray has always been, because he runs, man, his floor as a fantasy QB is really high. So he's always been good. I do not believe in Kyler Murray the same way I used to.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
I don't know.
He should have went and played baseball. Kyler
The
Murray.
only thing I was gonna say
What
about the
about Murray?
Vikings, I almost had them in the duds. I almost had the entire running back room there because I think they have no chance of catching passes.
But it's
I
just
think
expected, though, right? To be
I
honest,
think
yeah.
Kyler Murray is going to take off every chance you have. He's not going to check down anything. That running back room is going to be putrid. Please stay away from that.
And if
Aaron
he's my
Jones is a
fantasy QB,
fossil, dude. Like,
I
straight
hope that's
fossil.
what he does.
Fair enough.
All right. Hey, let's do this. Let's do 2 duds each, and then let's share 1 rookie each. And then we will conclude this episode. For our duds, does anybody want to go first? I have another Who Am I?
We can start with that. Just go
All
ahead and
right.
start with that.
Who am I? I am being drafted as a
JJ
top
Bunny.
24 wide receiver.
Hmm.
Oh, well, I don't know ADP, so
I'm being drafted as a top 24 wide receiver. Obviously, you're not going to get it based off that. Over 33% of my yards last season came from 2 games.
Wow.
whoa.
Is it
A third of his yards came from 2 games.
Over
it-
33%.
Brian Thomas Jr.?
It is not. That's a good guess.
Let's see. I know he had a couple of good games. I had him in fantasy. That was another one that was fun.
All right, here's
Quentin
another
Johnston?
one.
No way it's
I
Quentin
had-
Johnston.
No, he's not being drafted that high.
He was actually
I
pretty
had
good.
less yards, receptions, and touchdowns than Jerry Jeudy last season.
Oh.
It was just terrible. Or either he got hurt.
What about, is it DJ Moore?
It is not. That's a good guess.
Yeah.
DJ Moore is not quite being drafted as a top 24 wide receiver.
Terry
Is it-
McLaurin?
It's not Terry McLaurin. Slade, any last guesses?
I was gonna say like Ricky Pearsall, but I don't think he even like played enough. And I don't think he'd be going that high anyway, so no.
All right. I don't have any other hints. Would you guys
Okay.
like to know who it is?
Could you give us the division?
He's in the NFC North.
NFC North.
Jordan Addison?
Jaden Reed?
It is not.
Neither one of them.
It's neither.
I thought
Jameson?
Reed had a couple
Williams?
of like monster games.
Jacob, it's your boy. Luther Burden, the
Wow.
third. My
Wow.
first dud pick. That's
That's
right.
insane, dude.
I'm
That's
hating the
crazy.
stud pick on Luther Burden. Man, he is being drafted right now as the wide receiver 21. He's being drafted
Good reason.
Too
2
low.
spots behind Colston
It's
Loveland.
too low.
He's being drafted 17 spots above Rome Odunze. He's being drafted in front of Terry McLaurin, Cam Scatabo, Jalen
Mhm.
Waddle, Devontae Adams,
Oh.
David
Mhm.
Montgomery, Lamar Jackson, Jamison Williams. I don't feel comfortable drafting a guy who had about 650 receiving yards last season and had 240 of those in 2 games. I don't think that the breakout was big enough to feel confident in what's happening. And I think anytime you are drafting to be honest with you, I don't think I'm going to draft any of the Bears pass catchers because they are
Missing out.
because there's such like a gamble of who it might be. Like it could be one person and you take a 1 in 3 shot and you miss it. The odds of all 3 of them being relevant are very low. And the shot you have to take, you have a decent chance of being really disappointed. Luther Burden, I like the prospect. I mean, I loved him. I wanted him to be drafted in the first round. Fun fact, that's who I wanted the Bills to take that year. I wanted them to take a stab with Luther Burden, but that's not how it happened. And I don't think Luther Burden is a bad player at all. I think with DJ Moore exiting, I think people are overreacting a bit. Now, this is not me saying I think Luther Burden is going to be a bad player. This is me saying I think he's going to be a bad fantasy pick. I think for where you're getting him at the mid 4th round, he's going to have to be your wide receiver 2. And I just don't know that I'm excited about that when DJ Moore is only leaving 600 receiving yards behind to split to everybody else. It's not like he's leaving this significant amount, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, I mean, we can move forward pretty quickly if you guys want to, because I know we already talked about Luther Burden quite extensively.
This is the Luther Burden show tonight. Hey, the only thing I'll say is I'm throwing this out here on air. Clip it, do whatever. Luther Burden is 1,100 plus guy next year.
1,100 plus?
1,100 plus guy next year. Luther Burden.
I'm very
Rome,
excited to clip that.
Rome might be. Not
I think
Luther.
he's so good.
Luther might get. I'm thinking Luther gets like 950, and I think Rome gets about 11.
I'm bullish on him, man. I think he's going to be fantastic.
That's fair.
Hey, I respect it.
Like you said, JJ, any 3 of them could go off. It could be their year. We don't know.
Right.
I'm telling you, I really think, and I know I said this earlier, I just think with them, it just feels like a situation where I think they're going to be good enough to where they're not going to be killing each other too much. Because I think the offense is going to put up a lot of yards.
And that's fair.
I mean,
because after those 3 guys, it's no one. Like, it's no one. So, I mean, I think you have that going for you. But I don't know. That's also just not how I like to draft my teams.
We also have to realize that Caleb, or actually the Chicago Bears in general, has never had a 4,000-yard regular season passer. So if it holds true, I mean, you're only limited to so many yards, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Caleb Williams literally can't throw for over 4,000. Like, you just can't. You're a Bears quarterback.
You got to keep it up. Okay, so let's go for one of my duds. Okay, I might just be hating because I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm going to go Dallas Goedert, okay? And my reasoning here is you're bringing in Eli Stowers, Kyle Lemon, Dontavion Wicks, Hollywood Brown, and Darius Cooper.
Jeez.
That is 5 guys that I'm not saying they're going to be great. I think Mekhi Lemon has a good chance of going in the situation 700-800 yards. The other guys probably scrap around for 300-400 each. Eli Stowers, maybe not. I just think with that team, you have Saquon Barkley who's going to tote the rock 42,000 times. I mean, they're just going to feed him, put it in his chest, and hope he scores a touchdown. Is basically what they're going to go for. Or just push it all the way down the field. I think there's only so many passing yards, kind of like Caleb Williams, that Jalen Hurts is going to have. I just think Dallas Goedert, he don't get left out. I think he's going to have like 500-600 yards. I just don't think he's going to have the year that everybody expects him to have with the A.J. Brown exit, personally.
Sure.
So, I mean, I don't know if that's a stupid take or unbiased take.
I just
felt like they're really bringing in so much.
Tight end 1.
Okay.
Look, I don't know.
Right.
I had him last year, and he was great. I don't know how many touchdowns he scored, but it was a lot. Like, it really saved him last year. Like, someone would have to go look. I'm thinking, like, close to double digits. Like, it was nearing.
He probably had
was double digits.
Easily, because he had like 3 or 4 of those little shovel passes.
But another thing that I want to add on to what you said, because you talked about a guy that I was this close to putting in my boom because we wanted to add 11. Like, he's not scoring 11 touchdowns again. But
probably 6 or 7.
We wanted to add some rookies into our boom category, some guys we wanted to talk about. I was this close to putting Eli Stowers. I wish I would have. I add him into that Gatson and Kyle Pitts category if he's a wide receiver playing tight end. I don't know if you guys –
Harold Fannin.
I love Eli Stowers. Go back and watch our draft episode. I think he's going to be a better NFL tight end than Kenyon Sadiq.
He is unbelievable. He's fast. He's big. He has great hands. He's a wide receiver playing tight end.
That is ridiculous.
I don't know how he doesn't produce for them next year and have some sort of like viable role in the passing game. Like, I think that very quickly he's going to turn into Jalen Hurts' best friend. I really do.
Yeah, and it's going to be unfortunate because we're going to be like, it's going to be just enough to where it's like you're going to see the flash, but you're not going to get to see it fully emerge because he's going to be a little bit buried. And so like you're not gonna like there's so many other people
Sure.
like I don't think he's going to fully emerge, and everybody's
like
going to be wanting more.
Kincaid's rookie year with Dawson Knox. Like I know
Yes.
you as a Bills guy. Like we're watching the game, and Kincaid comes in and like he makes this unbelievable play, and then all of a sudden Dawson Knox. They're in like one
Trotting
time.
back
Dawson
out.
Knox is
Dawson
marching
Knox
out.
with 3 straight drives, and then finally by
Kincaid
the end of
catches
the
like a
year,
30-yard
Kincaid's
catch
back.
to save the season, get the first down. And
But
then
I do
here
think
comes Knox.
similar to LA, there's a use for both guys. Like
Yeah.
Goddard's
Yes.
going to be on the field a ton, but I do think with Stowers, I like what you said. So I do think it could cut in. I think he may be asked to do less in the passing game because of Stowers. So
Sure.
whereas he was a great tight end last year, I think he goes. Maybe he's not a top 10 one this year. So I like that. I think it was a good pick.
Especially with his age. Like they're
For
going to
sure.
probably ask him to do
He's
more
still a good
blocking
player.
and less receiving,
Right.
just like a Mark Andrews has been asked to do in the past
Sure.
couple years.
They love him there, but he's still going to play a role, but not the same.
Out of those guys, you got 3 rookies that are coming in. Obviously, Kyle Lemon, they're gonna use him, run his brakes off. He's gonna be that wide receiver too. He's gonna be a great asset
That
for
was a
that team.
great pick. I loved him.
Eli Stowers and Darius Cooper. I assume they're probably gonna gamble with them a little bit. They're gonna see what they got. But then you got Wicks, who is proven to be, if you need him, he's there.
Competent.
Yeah, if you need him, he's there. And then Hollywood Brown, probably the worst one out of those 5, or the least exciting to watch now, given his age and how he plays. But he's still probably going to put up at least 300 or 400 yards for you.
Sure.
And I just feel like
Catch
that's
a couple
biting
touchdowns.
That's biting into Dallas Goedert for sure.
Yeah.
So I think going into my duds, I have 2 guys that really stick out to me. Both of them, there's a lot of guys on here. I'm trying to figure out who I want to start with. I think the first guy I'm going to go with for this one, just throw the one name out. I have David Montgomery on here. I just think there's multiple factors to go into it. One, I think he's aging, like he's going to his age 29 season. I think maybe even his age 30 season. I swear 30 is when you get 30 for a running back. I swear most of the time that's just it, unless you're Derrick Henry. So he's definitely aging. I think that, part of them moving on from him in Detroit had to do with Gibbs, but I think their willingness to move on from him and him losing so many reps has a lot to do with him as well. Because the thing about him is Detroit knew what they had in Gibbs before last year. There's a reason he started losing carries. Gibbs didn't all of a sudden turn great last year. He was great the 2-3 years prior. I think 2 years prior. I think last year was his 3rd year. He was great those 2 years prior also. Montgomery was getting so many carries. I think he lost a little bit of a step last year. That's why he started getting not many reps. And then also, he's going to play for Houston. Houston's run blocking is some of the worst I have ever seen in my entire life. Like
It's
I get
horrible.
last year, when you look, I get Mixon didn't play, right? So Mixon gets hurt. I get you had Chubb and Marks. And Marks showed some flashes, but nothing in the running game. I think they ranked 31st out of 32 teams in yards per carry last year. Absolutely abysmal. I believe it was under 4. So I think when you factor that in, I think he's obviously better than Chubb was last year. Like I'm not going to compare it to that. Also with Chubb coming off the injury, I don't think he's going to go in there and put up huge numbers, though. I think the yards per carry is going to be low. He's going to score some, and I also think they like what they got in Marks. Marks is going to play. Like I know, I'm not even saying Montgomery's not going to get more of the reps because I think he will, because I still think he's a solid player, and I love David Montgomery, but he's just aging. He's going behind the complete opposite of what he was running behind in Detroit. In Houston next year, again, the run blocking, it's horrible. It was awful last year. And again, I think they like what they have in Marks. So Marks is going to play. Like them signing David Montgomery wasn't just, all right, Woody Marks, sure. I think they like what they have in him. So he's a dud for me. Sorry, Montgomery.
Yeah, I'm not
Good.
sure. I'm really not sure. I still believe Montgomery has it. Like, I don't think he's lost it. And I think the Woody Marks situation might be very similar to the Dameon Pierce situation, where Dameon Pierce did it because he had to as a late round pick for a year. And then they signed Joe Mixon to come in, and Joe Mixon at the time, 28 years old, to come in and take the job and be a 3-down back. And I think that's what they want. And that's why they got Montgomery.
I just don't know if Montgomery is comparable to what Mixon was when Mixon got there. I think that Mixon's like a clear tier above when
Sure.
he got there, maybe what.
I'd agree with
just think
that, but I don't think Woody Marks is as good as Damian Pierce was.
I don't know. I think he's better than Pierce is.
Damian Pierce's
overall,
rookie
I think
year,
he's going to have a better career.
We forget that Damian Pierce's rookie year was like exciting, and Pearson literally kept him. Like he was his keeper.
He did.
Yeah, no, he had a good rookie year. I think Marks will have a better career than Pierce, though. I'm going to throw that out there.
Okay.
But he didn't have a better rookie. Pierce didn't have a great rookie. What I will say, I think some of it with me too, you will not find a player that was more beloved in a city and in an organization. And I know he got a little bit upset towards the end of the year, kind of voiced some of that. So that probably played a role in it. I just think them being willing to move off of him says something. I think it says something because they really love David Montgomery there. And he was such a huge part of those teams the last 3 years. And to see him basically he was getting under 10 carries a game, every game at the end of the year. Like sometimes, it felt like he was barely touching the football. I just think that there's a reason for it. And I don't think it was just because they already knew what they had in Gibbs. And I think that part of it is Gibbs, but I think some of it has to do with Montgomery. So,
My opinion on this situation is I feel like it's going to be very similar to not this past season, but the season prior of Gibbs and Montgomery, where they kind of went 50-50. One on one what is it called? Drive down the field, Montgomery was in. The next drive, Jahmyr Gibbs was in. I think they're going to do that very similarly. I don't think they're going to give up on Marks, like you said, Jacob. But also, like you said, I think Montgomery is, at the time, much better than Chubb was last year.
The problem is I think they're just going to trade turns running into the center's back. I think that's what the problem
is.
The
O-line is bad. I'm agreeing with that.
That's fair.
I don't think he's going to be able to be very successful.
The difference
there was games last year, they tried to run the ball. Like I had Marks in fantasy. He would get 20 touches. Like 20, we're talking 20 touches for like 38 yards rushing. Like that type of abysmal. You know what I mean?
27th in the NFL last year, their O-line was.
The difference is, I think with Tank Dell coming back, I think it opens up that passing game even more. Still going to get 10, probably 12 or 14 touchdowns this year.
Or 12 or 14?
I think so. I think the offense is going to be pretty, maybe not like top.
You forget who the quarterback is in Houston too, right? Like, are we?
I think
he can come Stroud back. In this podcast.
I'm not here nor there. He was fun to watch his rookie season. I think he took a step back, but I think they'll be fine.
I think Stroud should be a starter, but I'm not a big fan.
I'm telling you, I've said
I'm not high on him, but I think he's
Stroud's divisional round game versus New England. I say this with dead serious. Like I say this with full certainty, and I won't take it back ever unless someone somehow plays worse, which I don't know if it's possible. CJ Stroud's divisional game versus New England last year is the worst quarterback game I have ever seen in my entire life. I don't say that lightly. I don't know how many picks he had, but however many picks he had 6 picks.
He had 6 turnovers. Let me look what
turnovers. However many turnovers he had in that game, you can take that and double it, and that's how many other wide open throws he missed on top of the turnovers. Like I remember watching that game. I remember texting you guys during this game and being like, "This is the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life." And it has left such a bad taste in my mouth for CJ Stroud that has been hard to get out ever since because he really struggled. And that Pittsburgh game was also abysmal, by the way.
Both of his playoff games were pretty bad.
It was terrible. The New England one was heinous.
I think he could definitely turn it around. I think that could leave a bad taste in his mouth and he could just have that vengeance for this coming year.
I hope so. Because I like
his team fully healthy, getting somebody like David Montgomery in. Like you said, JJ, when they brought Joe Mixon in, they just had a fire under their butt, and they just went crazy. Yeah, so I think they could do the same thing with Montgomery here.
So, correction, he had 4 interceptions, not 6, but that's the most. That's tied for the most turnovers in an NFL playoff game by any single player.
He had some fumbles, didn't he?
I thought he did, but I couldn't. What I saw was just 4 turnovers on all interceptions. But maybe it was other people with the fumbles.
Go back and watch the lowlights from that game. It'll be longer than this video. I promise you.
All right. For my next dud, I I wasn't going to play Who Am I again, but I have the stats written down. I feel like it's more fun that way, and it takes just as long. So we're going to do that.
Might as well.
This player scored 12 touchdowns and finished as the 20th best player at their position last year.
12 touchdown, finished 20th in their position.
In fantasy.
Trying to think.
Devontae Adams.
Nope.
Ooh,
Decent
that was a good guess. That was
He
a
had
good
I knew he had a lot of
16
touchdowns.
It's 16.
Yeah, I knew he had a ton.
Jeez.
He's a wagon.
Probably. Dang, better be dang Sean Tucker after what he was doing to me last year. Sean Tucker probably had 30.
My dud pick is Sean Tucker. Don't draft him. I
30
know you were
touchdowns.
planning on it.
I mean, you would have thought Sean Tucker was Jerome Bettis the way they were putting him in.
All right.
Jeez.
All right. 12 touchdowns, 20th best at his position last year. He ran behind the number 1 O-line in the league last year.
Like statistically?
PFF graded.
No, that don't help me none. Who had a good O-line?
DeAndre Swift.
It's a good guess, but no. It's a very good guess.
Trying to think. It's definitely a playoff team. You would have to.
He
think.
was
Let me guess. Kyron Williams.
no,
the same
not
wagon?
Kyron Williams. This player finished with 3.7 yards per carry.
Abysmal.
Pretty bad.
Abysmal. I can run.
This
for more.
player placed 44 44th out of 49 qualified running backs in yards after contact.
So if he got touched, he fell down.
And this player
I could blow on him and
finished
he'd fall down.
42nd out of 49 qualified running backs in explosive run rate.
What did this guy do? Is it Blake Corum? Is it somebody like Blake Corum?
It's
Scored.
not Blake
I'm
Corum.
telling you, it's Sean Tucker, man. It's
Sean Tucker.
This is screaming Sean Tucker. This is the
I was thinking
definition
Kenneth
of what he-
Gainwell at the beginning because he had so many touchdowns, but I know it can't be him because his explosive
me-
play was
let me think.
electric.
Let me think real fast.
I have one more hint.
Let me think.
I mean, who could you blow on and he just fell? That was like Zeke a few years ago.
My team
where he would just
drafted.
dive.
My team drafted a running back in the 4th round this year.
This year.
This year, there's no talent. Let's see.
Where did Jonah Coleman go? Is it RJ Harvey?
It is R.J. Harvey.
Crazy.
R.J. Harvey.
I know he broke one out for about 60 against Dallas last year. So that was it right there. That
Yeah.
was the one.
That's what
He-
bumped him up from
That
49
was
or
the
whatever.
one. He would have been dead
He-
last and everything if it wasn't for that one.
He is now he's not being drafted very high. He's being drafted as the RB31. Think it was one of those dumb Sean Payton picks that was just like, hey, watch this. I'm going to do something cool. And then it wasn't cool. And he has some of the worst advanced analytics in the entire NFL for running backs, as I just shared. He had 3.7 yards per carry. He was terrible. He was behind literally the best offensive line in the league, and he still had bad advanced metrics. And they re-signed J.K. Dobbins. They were in a lot of conversations for the big name running backs. It was talked about a lot that they were after Breece Hall and things like that. So they wanted to add a big name. They just weren't able to. They re-signed J.K. Dobbins. They draft Jonah Coleman. And J.K. Dobbins last year, remember, before J.K. Dobbins got injured, J.K. Dobbins was clearly leading that backfield and was very proficient, like very efficient on his carries, very consistent. And RJ Harvey just was not that for them. And so I think RJ Harvey will get passing work. I think he may be somewhat competent in a PPR league. But I think J.K. Dobbins is going to be a better pick than R.J. Harvey. And I think Jonah Coleman is going to, just put in some
Beast, dude.
touchdowns. Like I think he's legitimately going to be a good running back. I talked about that, went back near the draft. I love Jonah Coleman as a prospect. I think he's going to be really good. And so I hope he can
You
emerge
do love
and
Coleman.
put in
It's
the
something
back
that
seat.
is. I promise you, I'm not joking when I say this. This is straight
What?
off my screen. Let me.
What?
So I looked up that RJ Harvey run versus Dallas.
Yeah.
And this is the title of the video. Like, I promise you. RJ Harvey breaks 3 tackles and takes it 38 against Dallas.
Which is funny because
That's it.
it's
He's
yards
dead
after
last.
contact and explosive run rate were the 2 stats that I shared.
He's dead last in both of those, if not for that run. I just remember watching, like, that's why you're reading this. Like, I watch Dallas play every game. Like, I watch Denver play. I watch everybody play. I'm a huge
Sure.
NFL fan. I'm not sitting down and watching every Denver game. That's why when you say that, I know he had a good end of the year. I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, I just remember
Doesn't know anything.
Beastquake he went on.
Know anything?
Beastquake.
You also left out probably the biggest acquisition the Broncos made, and that was getting Jalen Waddle. I mean, you got to think they're going to be throwing the ball even more.
For sure.
Bo Nix, whatever happened to his ankle, he's probably not going to be as mobile as usual.
Whatever happened.
So he might be dropping some passes down to RJ Harvey. That's the only reason I left him. I almost put him on not studs, but like some risers because I thought he possibly could break out just because of what he did at the end of the last year.
Yeah, if
that's you just gave to me, I'm gonna take that back. Act like
avoid
that
him. Avoid him at all costs.
And I was gonna say,
like
when you were going through all that, I was gonna say maybe we go to like the positives of why he's gonna get left out, not how bad he is. I was gonna say the addition of Jonah Coleman, getting Jalen Waddle, J.K. Dobbins coming back. I think that the statistics point otherwise.
Guaranteed he runs for 2,000 next year now after this segment.
Please. I hope that happens.
RJ2K. RJ2K. You heard it here first. RJ Harvey.
Here's
legend.
RJ got too many personal shots during that segment, and I apologize. I'm more frustrated at Sean Payton than I am at RJ.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was a good player.
I'm gonna leave you on that rant. I'm gonna move straight on to one of my other duds, and I'm between two. I'll say both the names and not give you. I just want to see your reactions. I'm not gonna give that too much depth to it. Travis Etienne, I could see falling a little bit given the situation. And Terry McLaurin. Obviously, that offense is going to be quite putrid. It's going to run through Scary Terry.
Oh,
yeah, right. It's going to run. It's going to run through Scary Terry.
Big. I haven't heard that name in a while. That was the future in Tennessee.
Terry is going to be the primary.
Future in Washington now.
He's going to be the primary anything on that team, but I just think the offense is just terrible in general. I don't think they're going to get much going. And then Travis Etienne's situation, I think you got Tyler Shuck. He just played pretty solid as a rookie. I just don't think you handcuff him into handing the ball off to Travis Etienne or Achane and Alvin Kamara and Devin Neal over and over and over again. You bring in Jordan Tyson, and you have the breakout year of Chris Olave last year. I think you just let him shine, let him air it out. So that's the only reason I have them two guys up there. I just didn't know what y'all's opinions on those were.
My opinions are that's two of the guys on my list. So I just think that.
All right.
I think
so you agree.
I think with Travis, I just think he's going behind. You're going to a worse team. Offensive line is not as good as what you had in Jacksonville. So I still think he'll catch some passes and be a good player, but I don't think he's going to be as good as he was last year. It wasn't even necessarily with him. Like, I think he's going to be just terrible. I just think the situation is not as good. So kind of like what you said. And then the McLaurin thing, not even bad situation in the sense of who's throwing him the ball. I just think Washington's going to be horrible. I don't know how motivated he'd be. He got paid. He's aging. I believe he's into his 30s. He was bad last year. He struggled to stay healthy last year. And I think a lot of times when that happens, you think bounce back. I think it's the opposite. I don't think he gets worse, but I just think he's just kind of aging out. So I think that bad team,
probably go for 850, probably
older paid player. But another guy I'll add, I have Brian Thomas Jr. on here. I think that could be a bounce back candidate for a lot of people.
Oh,
But I have him as a dud. I don't think he's going to have that bounce back season next year. A couple of factors
wow.
that go into it. One, I think that they signed Jacoby Myers long term. He took up a lot of the red zone targets. Trevor Lawrence instantly formed a pretty good connection with him. He played a couple of games there, had a couple of really good games. They signed him to a 4-year deal, I believe. I think that was really telling. Another big thing with Brian
Brenton
Thomas
Strange
Jr. is Brenton Strange. Brenton Strange is kind of a dog, though.
Just got re-signed. Big contract.
Big dog. He's a dog, low key. But the other big thing for me, Parker Washington. I think that he cuts in to Brian Thomas Jr. a lot. Like when you look at what it just seems like anytime there was a big moment last year, as crazy as it sounds, that's where Lawrence was going with the football. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is a good player. I just think that he's on. It just seems like Lawrence is really gelled with these other two guys, and Thomas is kind of like the odd man out. It's weird. I don't have a good feeling with.
Sure.
I just think Lawrence has just really good pedigree with Myers, and especially Washington. Like I think that's Lawrence's guy. I don't
It's
know how to
almost
explain it. It just seems like sometimes quarterbacks just have a guy that's their safety blanket. I think Parker Washington is that for Trevor Lawrence.
it's almost like the Arizona Cardinals situation where you would assume just out of like the get go, it would be Marvin Harrison or
Yeah.
BTJ leading it. But it's Michael Wilson and Parker Washington. Like you said, Jacoby Myers coming in halfway through the season. Yeah, it's a crowded room. And he's just fallen. He fell off last year. I mean, it would be nice to see him get better because I had him in fantasy.
I think he may get a little better, but I still think he's going to be a dud compared to what people are expecting him to do. I don't think he does worse, but if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's kind of weird. It's kind of like, remember when Cooper Rush took over for Dallas and he's playing with CeeDee Lamb and he's playing with all these guys at receiver, and the only guy he wanted to throw the ball to was Noah Brown because they were on the practice squad together for years, so he was comfortable throwing the ball to him. It's kind of how I feel with Lawrence, with Washington. Like Washington is a good player in his own right. He's really electric with the ball in his hands. But that's kind of, it's like he's kind of morphed into Lawrence's guy at the end of the season last year. And I honestly think he could be sneaky in fantasy this year. I think honestly he's a really good player.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, rookies. Last
We're just
up,
giving
each
one.
of us get to highlight one rookie that we think could be a successful fantasy pick for this year. I can go first if you guys want to keep the same flow going.
You got a who am I?
Right.
You got a who am I?
I do not have a who am I. I'm sorry.
Get him out of
This
the chat.
one, we'll make this quick. I mean, is there anybody else? It's Jeremiah Love.
I know who Slade's going with.
It's Jeremiah Love. I think Jeremiah Love is going to be a good fantasy pick, and let me tell you why. I think that needs some convincing. The Cardinals are terrible. They're probably going to have a little bit of trouble running the ball. I think he's not going, nobody's looking at his situation like a great situation for a highly drafted running back to go into. Slade's agreeing with all these things. So Slade is obviously not high on Jeremiah Love, but let me convince you, Slade. Let me convince you. These are the top 10 picked running backs. These are running backs picked in the top 10 of the draft in the last 15 years. And their rookie fantasy finish. Rookie year fantasy finish, okay? Bijan Robinson finished as the RB9. Tyler Algier was there, by the way, who had run for 1,000 yards the year before that. Saquon Barkley finished as the RB2. Leonard Fournette finished as the RB9. Christian McCaffrey finished as the running back 10. Todd Gurley finished as the running back 5. And Trent Richardson finished as the running back 9. All these guys.
Zeke Elliott.
Oh, Zeke wasn't on my list. He might have been the top of them. Yeah, he might have been one. I don't know how I missed that one.
Yeah, you're good.
That was just
Cowboys. That wasn't even necessarily. That was just me being a.
No, Cowboy. I appreciate you throwing that. Yeah, even better. It throws into my argument. nobody is doubting that Jeremiah Love is as good as those guys. Like Jeremiah Love is that level of prospect. People agree with that. Ashton Jeanty last year was another one. He was the RB12 last year. I'm pretty sure 10 or 12. So every single one of them has finished as an RB1 in fantasy football. Jeremiah Love is being drafted as the running back 13 right now because people are looking at his situation going, it's not that good. I'm not excited about it. There's a lot of running backs there. But the only guy I'm worried about in Arizona is Tyler Algier. And Tyler Algier does not have the fantasy football superpower that Jeremiah Love does, and that is catching passes. Jeremiah Love, I would not be surprised if he comes out in week 1, like you said, hey, they're going to they might struggle running the ball, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 7 receptions in week 1 because they're just checking it down over and over again. Jeremiah Love, I think, based on what we've seen from top 10 drafted running backs, I think his floor is really safe, and his floor is above where he's being drafted right now, in my opinion. And I think his ceiling, as for all top 5 pick running backs, his ceiling is top 3 running back. And I think that could happen. Like legitimately that could happen with a guy like Jeremiah Love because of how talented he is, because he can catch passes, because he's going to have explosive plays. And so I think you might experience a little bit of the rookie year Jahmyr Gibbs frustration or the rookie year Bijan frustration for sure. But if you get an RB9 finish when you drafted him at running back 13 at the beginning of the 3rd round, I think you're going to be really happy with that. So
the only disagreement I have, because I agree that Jeremiah Love is a stud. He's a dog. He's going to be great. He should be good for the next 10 years. I think I do fall in the camp of the environment just is not great for his situation. Like his situation is not great. You bring in Tyler Algier. Obviously, you plan on using him. I mean, you paid him a ton. You have the 3 guys that we had already mentioned that you're going to throw the ball to, and Jacoby Brissett is going to throw the ball. Yes, Jeremiah Love can catch it really well, but I just feel like at the third, if he's getting, you said RB13, RB12,
RB13.
I think that's exactly where he's going to finish, like 13 to 15, just because of the situation. I just don't. I mean, yeah, he's a top 4 pick. He's going to be a dog. I would love to see him top 10. I just am not in that camp, and I'm glad that you are because you didn't take my rookie that I want to talk about.
To put it in perspective, just by the way, all of these other rookies, most of these other rookie picks, now not guys like Christian McCaffrey, he was a lot lower. There were other guys who were a lot lower in where they got picked. But like last year, Ashton Jeanty was getting picked. I'm pretty sure he was getting picked like tail end of the 1st round, beginning of the 2nd round. And Jeremiah Love is getting drafted at the beginning of the 3rd round. And so I just feel like you're getting a lot more value.
For what it's worth, I think Love's a better player and has a better situation than Jeanty had last year. Because as bad as we talk about Houston's offensive line, the reason they were 31st is because Vegas exists. So like it was bad.
I mean,
true.
I fell into the camp. I fell into the camp of drafting Jeanty, being on the Jeanty train, which he wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong.
It wasn't even his fault.
He wasn't bad at all. His fault. It was just the situation he was in, and I think that's going to fall a little bit on Jeremiah Love as well. If I could get him at the beginning of the 3rd round, mid-3rd round, I would love to do it. I would definitely take that chance on him. I just don't think I would ever. I don't think I'd ever reach until like the end of the 2nd round to get him. If that makes sense.
When you witnessed some of those Jeanty games last year, when he's like 22 for 42, like 22 carries, 42 yards, like I get your skepticism of, but
I had to deal with it.
It's okay. Slade? We'll let you work through your trauma.
Do you want me to go last? Do you want me to go right now, Jacob? Because I think we know kind of who I'm going to be going with.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll let you cap us off. So,
oh, no.
I have a few rookies on the list, but there's one guy I'm going to highlight because I think it's the most fun guy on the list. Like I put.
Funnest is correct.
Yeah. Slade.
Yeah. Pipe down, Slade.
Sorry, I'm a finance major.
Like I put Denzel Boston on here. I put Jordan Tyson on here. Like some guys that I think are both going to be really good, but not like the top. Some guys that I think maybe be overlooked a little bit fantasy wise. I think could have good years. But the guy I want to talk about, I think he was drafted. I think he was a 3rd round pick. To be honest with you, you would have to look. Somebody
Who is
can
it?
look
I
it
would
up.
know.
But
CJ Allen?
Zachariah Branch for
Wow.
Atlanta. I think Zachariah Branch
3rd.
is not only going to be good. I think that this may be getting into a little bit more of like 16 team leads, maybe be steering from the 12 a little bit. But I honestly think by the end of the year, I think this is going to be one of those guys that you pick up on your waiver wire and like is playable in a 12-man league by the end of the year. I think he's that good. I think some of it is a situation, and I mean multiple parts of a situation. They have Drake London. Drake London he's a top guy. Like he's an elite
Top 7,
NFL
top
one.
8.
He's not just a 1, he's an elite 1. He's a great player. We know that. Then you look at what they've got in the slot in front of Branch. You have Jahan Dotson, you have Alameda Zacchaeus, who is aging, decent player in his own right still. And then you have Jahan Dotson, he's been in Philly the past couple of years, but I would say for the better part, has kind of fallen off the face of the earth. Like, I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. Didn't do much in Philly after coming over from New York. So I think he's going to step in and he's going to start very soon. Another thing that I like about him is he's a guy, if you watch him play at Georgia, he's not much of a vertical threat. It's all quick game stuff. Who's going to be throwing the ball? Tua. Who's better at the quick game than Tua is? Tua is not a vertical guy in his own right. Like he's an accurate passer down the field, but he doesn't have the biggest arm in the world. Like I know he would stretch it out to Tyreek. That's kind of one of the things that he would get in trouble with is, Tyreek would kind of outrun him. But he's a really good in the short game. He gets the ball out fast. Branch is the king of that. It even got made fun of for it some. Like coming into the draft, or like guys were watching his tape and they're like making fun of him. Like he didn't catch a pass 20 yards downfield all year. But I don't need him to catch a pass 20 yards down the field all year to be a good fantasy player. I think he's going to catch a lot of screens. I think they're even going to hand the ball off to him some and a lot of jet sweep stuff. They're going to find ways to get the ball in his hands because he's such a good playmaker. Zachariah Branch, I think, may end up being one of them. He's just a really good football player. Like I watched, he's probably going to return punts. He's a really good football player. He's going to bring an extra level and help Atlanta out. I think he's the running mate that they've been looking for Drake London for the past few years. I know that, God, I'm blanking on his name. He played in Chicago before he went to Atlanta. I know he had the 1,000 yard. Darnell Mooney. I know Mooney had the 1,000-yard year a couple years ago, kind of had that resurgence. Took a huge step back last year. He's not even there anymore. I think this is their guy to be a running mate with Drake London. And he's not that vertical threat, but I think that he's still I think he's going to play. I think that they'll use him correctly, and I hope so at least.
I like the pick. I like the pick. The only thing I'd say about it is you were talking about Tua excelling at the short game. When he was down there in Miami, you know what he did that with? Devon Achane. You know who Atlanta has? Bijan Robinson, who is going to catch.
I didn't know that.
7, 8 passes a game, run for 110 yards. I'm not saying that Zachariah Branch is going to be bad. I think he's going to work his way into the lineup, kind of like Luther Burden did. I do like the pick, though. I think it's fun.
I thought it was fun.
Kind of different.
I thought it was a guy
different pick. I like it.
Guys. I think I think he's going to provide value very quickly for them and instantly turn into a fan. I mean, he already played at Georgia. They already love him.
I love getting a deep pull. I love that.
But unfortunately for y'all two, y'all left the best rookie the NFL might have ever seen, and that is the Kenyon Sadiq. I have Kenyon Sadiq. I have Mekhi Lemon and Cornell Tate on here as well. But Kenyon Sadiq, you have Geno Smith throwing you the rock. He is going to air that thing out. He don't care at this point in his career, especially. He's going to throw it out. I wouldn't put it past him to have 10 to 12 targets a game in this offense. It is Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, and Kenyon Sadiq. And when that Jets defense
targets a game,
when you have that defense who just pretty much sold out, they are going to give up 40 yards a game or 40 points a game. They're going to be throwing 80% of the plays from the second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. Kenyon Sadiq is going to benefit off of that.
Half of those are going to end up in the other team's hand with Geno.
That's
slinging
fair.
the ball.
But you know what that means? They go down, score, he gets it right back. Back to Sadiq. I got Sadiq. I'm going to say he ends the season with like 800 yards and 6 touchdowns. No,
If you-
700 yards, 6 touchdowns.
For those of you who don't know, our first episode we ever did, I think, ran 2 hours because Slade started talking to us for 30 minutes about why Kenyon Sadiq should go 1-1 in the draft. Like that's what we're dealing with here. So I have no comment. I don't know about. I mean, you're not gonna.
I'm
Because
not.
it's
I'm
not
not
changing
gonna
his mind.
I'm not
Nothing you
gonna,
can
like,
say is going to be.
participate in this.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing else y'all could add to make the argument even better.
I may
you know?
cut this just so we don't lose. We named ourselves Third and Wrong for a reason. Like this,
Yeah.
we may have to.
Y'all
change
two
it.
were wrong, and then it got to me.
He was third, and he was wrong. So
No,
There you go. That's
There you go.
That's where the name comes from.
No.
that's right.
Uh,
That's
no,
right.
Kenyon
Well,
Sadiq is going to be a dog.
don't think so. But we've had fun today talking about some fantasy picks. Boys, this has been one of my favorite episodes. I love talking fantasy.
It was really
JJ
fun.
loves some fantasy. He wins.
JJ
like
is a
always.
fantasy
He always-
connoisseur. He's the guru.
He always wins.
I love some fantasy. Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to the next episode with you guys. If you guys want us to like do some different themed fantasy videos, if you guys have any ideas for what that might look like, drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys. We're happy to do whatever you guys are looking for. Maybe you guys are looking for some dynasty content. Maybe you're looking for some good potential, like really deep players in leagues that, like Jacob said earlier, like 16-team leagues. If you guys want to see more stuff like that, let us know. But for now,
You know what might be fun? I just thought about this while you were saying that. Is we could do like a fantasy draft with all 3 of us in it, and you just like screen share your screen, and
There we
like kind of us just go through like
can we do a mock?
our picks. Yeah, kind of.
Do a little makalaka, and let the viewers see what we're
Macarena?
working with. Macarena.
If you ever call it that again, I could promise.
All right,
you.
everybody. We're the Third and Wrong podcast. Signing off for now. See ya in the next one.